Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show I have Thomas Scott in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. Thomas, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Super stoked. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Let's start off at the top. How did you get into the real estate space?
Wow. Well, I know we only have 20 minutes, so I'll keep it really brief. Well, I owned a video production company for over a decade in Pensacola, video production, video marketing, and we moved to St. Pete to grow that business. And about 2 years in, we got a really unique gig where we were hired to film a 2-day seminar. There's a gentleman named Rafael Vargas. I don't know if that rings a bell, but he was a young buck out of Tampa. He was doing like 10 million a year, and so he was teaching people how to wholesale virtually. And so people were flying all over the world to come see this seminar, paying 25, 30 grand just to have him open up the curtain, show them how to do it. And I had no idea about what wholesaling was, and I'll just be frank here. After it was all done, I was like, man, there's something missing. I thought real estate investing was a lot different and just didn't realize that there were other methods of really getting into real estate. And so there was a little seed that was planted, and let's just say COVID kicked in and my business kind of had the rug pulled out from it. We had to pivot, and I've always wanted to get into real estate and investing and building wealth. And that little seed just kept growing. And long story short, I had to make some move and adapt. I had a family, and we needed to get some revenue coming in, right? And so ended up becoming a dispo manager at a well-known company in Tampa. And that's how I got my start. And the rest is history.
That's how I got my start too.
Nice.
So I was selling cars, working for a Nissan dealership in San Antonio. And if you've sold cars before, know people who sell cars, in many cases, you live there. It's you're all of your time, quite literally. You get 1 day off, at least I did, and it's all of your time. And so I started to see, and this is kind of the trend in that industry, that they're really shifting from a model where you need salespeople to a model where you pretty much just order your vehicle. And there's more of that, and more people want to do that and are educated on that.
Yeah.
And so as I was seeing that, and I kind of saw the ability for the average salesperson to make a living going in a different direction, I started to look at alternatives. And real estate was something I was always interested in, but didn't have the friends, didn't have the network of people involved in real estate. So I was like, well, how do I get in? And much like yourself, Thomas, I found the company that took a shot on me, and I ended up first starting as acquisitions in San Antonio, then ended up moving to both acquisitions and dispositions in the greater area. And now here I am 2 years later, and I've got my real estate license in Dallas. I've done, 20 plus wholesale deals. this podcast. It's just crazy how these things shake out.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Life is a trip, man. You know, a lot of people look at that COVID situation. Now, granted, it was pretty bad for people, but it really was kind of a blessing in disguise for us. I did pretty well in the, video world. Had opportunity to work with some of the biggest names on the planet and had a great ride, but it didn't really get to where I was now as far as the financial freedom. I
Yeah.
work from home. My family is, we're all here. We homeschool my kids. And so it gave us a really a unique, approach to making money, helping people, and having this rich lifestyle where I'm able to focus on my family, focus on the children, really build, a bond with them. Because as you know, most of these kids are gone at school 8 hours of the day. And so
Yeah.
really blessed for sure.
I feel like when we were growing up, we hardly knew our parents to some degree. Do you feel that way?
Well, I was a product of the 80s. So yeah, my parents would be working and, we were off in woods riding bikes and just exploring the world, right? But yeah, I think it was twofold. They were gone, we were gone, but definitely a different world now, when we look at it, especially my life from how I lived, as a kid. And I had three brothers, so we're all
Yeah.
always running.
Thomas, how does your wholesale business look today?
Good question. Over the last 5 years, there's been iterations to kind of reflect on what happened next, right? So I started the Dispo job. 3 months in, they decided to shift gears and went into the tech business and started a CRM company and let go of everybody. So I'm like, well, what do I want to do? And by this point, I'm an entrepreneur. I just like to dive in. And I had a background in tech and automation. And I said, what the hell? At this point, I had a really big buyers list that they helped build, and I was building at the time. So I said, I'm just going to go out and try to get this done. And so the first year, I had no experience in real estate other than, the 3 months I learned there. And I made, over six figures. I ended up doing about 40 transactions, and all I
Holy
did was
smokes.
leverage other wholesalers' deals, right? I spent $0 on marketing. And so it was, at this time, the market, COVID kicked in. The markets were a little wonky. Then all of a sudden, especially here in Tampa and St. Pete area, things started heating up. I mean, you could sell a doghouse and make some money on it, right? So the second year, I ended up growing three times that, did around the same 35, 40 transactions, and started to have more control of my marketing. I didn't want to depend on other wholesalers and the whole, daisy chain world. And so I said, let me go ahead and just start testing, doing marketing. So started putting fuel on the fire with the channels that were working. And from there, I ended up creating a unique business model. The wholesale world, as you know, it's pretty much the same, right? They market, get properties under contract, then they market it to their buyers list. They get all these guys to go to the property.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
give me your highest and best, and hopefully I'm going to close the deal, make some money, and make this seller happy, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't really like that model. And so what I did is I found a handful of guys that I'd already done deals with, built some trust, had some credibility with them. And I said, hey, look, I've been doing some marketing. It's working really well for me, but I want to scale and grow to other markets, right? And so I said, here's my proposal. Why don't you fund the marketing campaign? Okay, I'll manage it. I'll handle all the leads that come in. I'll do the acquisition, so negotiate. I'll set up all the appointments and even dispo if I need to, and act as a transaction coordinator. So essentially, what these guys were getting was a whole real estate company in a box, and now they didn't have to depend on wholesalers. They didn't have to depend on agents. They didn't have to depend on auctions, FISBOs, all the things that these guys do, right? And so now they had control of a lead funnel, a lead system that they were able to control. And when you control your lead flow, you control your project flow and your revenue. So fast forward, ended up doing over 150 deals now in my 4 years, moving into 5 years, and started to actually deploy AI. And I know we're going to talk about that, but right now the beautiful thing is we do less deals, make more money simply because of all of the ways we now know how to convert leads, right? From cash offers to novations to sub to creative deals. I'm a land acquisition expert as well, so I entitle land. So any way that I can look at a deal, look at what's ideal for a seller and help them, that's what we do. So that's it, man. I know it's probably something you probably weren't expecting, but it is definitely a unique model, and I'd love to share a little bit more about that if we have time as well.
You inspire me, Thomas. I'm trying to
Oh
get to
wow.
where you are. I think you said something like 140 deals in 4 or 5 years. I'm trying to get to where you are. And the approach that you have, two things that really stuck out to me. I consider myself to be like a networking junkie, but I also consider myself to be like a real estate junkie. So as a realtor in DFW, I look at things differently than every other realtor, and I also think I look at things differently than every other wholesaler because I like to combine the wholesale aspect from an investor standpoint, how to market and find the distressed properties, how to find your buyers, with the mentality of a realtor, which is like you have to do everything so you are effectively staying in compliance, right? And so that you have the public's best interest. And sometimes these worlds are competing. But when I hear someone talk about a strategy like the one that you talked about, getting investors to fund your marketing campaigns, but it's in their best interest too, because they're going to have to pay somebody and they're not going to be effectively in-house. So they're just going to pay assignment fees, right? And there could be double closings and so on and so forth, and they don't actually know how much people are making. Well, with your approach, it's like, yeah, you are paying me up front, and I am doing some legwork that requires some faith, but we're going to be a team on this here, and you're going to see a much greater return than you would going through to other people.
Yeah, Dylan, and one of the best parts about it is there is no cost, right? We're actually a partnership. So once they fund the campaign, we essentially, once we get it, there's a few different ways that we could work it out. But the underlying note here is that let's just say at the end of the day, they're like, Thomas, we can pay 200 grand for this house, get it done. So we come in and negotiate anything under that 200 we can keep. So that enables us, they're happy and we can keep that. Or we want them to get the best return on investment and we partner with them on the back end. So we get anywhere from 15 to 20% of net profits of the flip. That way we're incentivized to continue to do a great job and close, because if we don't close the deals, well, we don't eat, right? Nobody eats. So it's a wonderful partnership. We're all in the same bed, so to speak, trying to get this thing going. And one very powerful thing that you have to recognize about this model is they get the control back. If you're depending on wholesalers, you're sifting through all these deals that we know just don't make sense because you hear it all the time. These wholesalers suck. They don't know how to evaluate properties and underwrite stuff. They don't know the costs that are associated with flipping a home and holding costs and taxes and utilities and everything in between, right? So it's a pretty powerful way for them to actually keep.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Keep the flow going and not having to depend on that, spending the time, and once again, they're able to control their project pipeline and their revenue.
Yeah, it's huge for investors. I have no investors. I've heard investors talk. I've heard them speak about this issue specifically, having to buy deals from wholesalers. I've known investors who are willing to lose money to be their own wholesaler versus pay someone else. Just kind of it doesn't make sense on paper, but it's because they just don't like doing it. You know what I'm saying? And so you're tapping into that. Thomas, I want to ask you, when people come up with new strategies, sometimes it's almost a divine intervention, but I get the sense that this was a very strategic move by you to come up with this strategy. How did you come up with this strategy? And walk me through the thoughts that were going on in your head when you were thinking, I'm going to go to investors and effectively partner with them in my marketing.
Yeah, so I just imagined a hamster wheel, and I did not want to be that hamster in it, right? I like long-term relationships. And so when you start to actually build long-term relationships and you're providing a steady source and you're really becoming integrated into these people's business and to their company and really driving revenue for them, you're going to have some friends for a good time, right? And
Yeah.
so once again, the old model I saw, the typical traditional wholesale model, you got to jump in that hamster cage all the time, right? That wheel. Boom, you get a new deal. Now you got to go send it out. So I said, how do I just add an immense amount of value? How do I become a sticky product, so they can't get rid of me. I've now been integrated, and now they're just like, we got to have Thomas continue to help us. Because at the end of the day, once again, you're getting a full real estate company. If you were to go out and hire a lead manager, hire a dispo, hire acquisition people, hire someone to do marketing for you to manage it, it starts to get really expensive. Plus training, you got to keep them motivated. It's a lot. So the partners that I have run small. They're not huge net worth style companies. They're smaller, and like you just said, they want to focus on what they love to do, and that's taking ugly homes and turning them into something beautiful and making money. And they don't want to have to do the marketing and everything on the front end. Most of the time, they're not that type of personality. They don't want to talk with these sellers. They don't want to be cussed out, all the
Yeah.
time or whatever. So we fill in a really good gap, and that's how I kind of came up with it. It all comes down to not being in that hamster wheel and building long-term relationships.
Thomas, in hearing you talk about this, it is interesting to me as a wholesaler, but also as an entrepreneur stepping back from this, because for those who are not in real estate, right, or for those who are newcomers, this podcast, we have all different types of people tuning in, right? We have seasoned real estate investors doing 100 or more deals a year, and we also have people on the outside looking in trying to figure out how to get into real estate. The business that you're involved in and the way that you started it and scaled it is super impressive, because not coming from a real estate background, right? You came from a different space entirely, having to learn transaction coordination, having to learn acquisition, disposition. I'll also say that networking with investors to build the kind of relationship that you have, it may be second nature to you or it might not be, but it's so many different skill sets, and I think people could have a course about each one of those, like a networking, a transaction coordination, a dispo, and acquisitions, right? And then the strategy that you created, super impressive stuff. I can tell just from that you have a different way of approaching business and thinking through real estate problems.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 22 years old. Started my first company. I'm 44 now. And, entrepreneurs, we adapt. I'm also a creative. I played in a reggae rock band and toured the country for over a decade. I've put on over 500 events in my time. So I've got a lot of world experience being out there in the streets, so they say, being with people, traveling the world. And you see a lot of different perspectives. And I think maybe just my brain was looking at different ways that I could set myself apart. But also, I mean, how smart is that? I don't have to do marketing anymore. They do the marketing. I get free opportunities. I lean on them for that help, and we have a symbiotic relationship, and we both, are successful with it. So that's that. As long as you provide value and you can create something that's sticky, right? That they just can't let go. That's super powerful.
Super powerful. Speaking of something sticky that you can't let go, AI
Oh
is
yeah,
now all
here we
over
go.
real estate. And I've really seen it, even in the last 60 days, I've seen it ramp up tremendously to the
Mm,
point where right now, everyone seems to be talking about speed to lead and that instant feedback that people are getting. I
that's
think
it.
that's huge and I think it's tremendous. And I think specifically the speed to lead and then the integration into being able to track your data,
Mm,
that's the new wave for a lot of real estate investors. And the people who are super, super, I would say, kind of like go as you may, just kind of wing it, that's going to be harder and harder to be super successful doing that.
mm. Yeah, I speak all over on the subject of AI, and I've been on the forefront of this technology. You're just saying you're starting to realize it. More people are talking about it. A year and a half ago, I had a unique situation. As I was telling you, I have multiple marketing partners. Right now, the phone's starting to ring, but yet I'm wearing many hats as well. And I'm over here looking at a home. I'm doing a renovation. I'm doing this and that. And so, what started happening, like most businesses and most investors deal with, is they start missing calls. They start not adequately following up, getting back to people in time. Speed to lead is everything, right? If you don't answer that phone, guess what? They're on to the next postcard that they got in the mail, right? Believe me, they keep them, they have them, they collect them like baseball cards. And so the problem was I was starting to miss calls. I was starting to miss opportunities, and this was affecting, the whole ecosystem, right? It's not their fault. They hired me, and we partnered so I can handle that. So I was dropping the ball, and I said, well, I need to figure out a better way. And so I saw a video that blew my mind, Dylan. It was the OpenAI video where they were actually chatting with the AI voice bot. And when I saw that, something kind of lit up in me, and I said, there's got to be a way that I can utilize that technology to answer calls, to do that speed to lead, to ensure I don't miss any more opportunities, that I follow up adequately. And so my journey began, and I started literally globally looking domestically, internationally for a team that could build these systems out. And I'll tell you, after about hundreds of hours of talking to people, researching, and then spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars on companies to help consult and try to put these things together, I found a company out of London, and we were able to build a system within 2 months that was able to answer all the inbound calls, any inquiries from website forms. They were, getting to them instantly, right? They were able to transfer the call once they were qualified. So we, as an acquisition person, we only want to talk to people that have their hand raised, want to hear an offer, and that meet all the criteria, right? And
Yeah.
so it was doing that, and then it started the functionality of scheduling appointments right then on the phone, which is insanely powerful. It started doing reminders, and then the follow-ups. Not every person you talk to, you're going to close the deal. It's okay. But follow-up is where it's at. I mean, I've had a deal close just, what was it, about a few months ago. It was a $25,000 deal that we had been followed up for 3 years. They finally came back, right? So having systems and processes in place on the back end with AI totally changed the game. And so a year now and a half using these systems, we save about, I don't know, anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a month. Okay, insane. What would you do if you got 60 to 80 hours of your month back? Like work on high-level tasks, right? So these were all low-level tasks, and these are what people are draining their day with right now, and this is how AI is going to change their world if they allow it. So those who adapt and get in right now are going to be further further ahead of those that don't, because just like Kodak, like Blockbuster, the taxi industry, those that don't innovate, they're gonna die. And so AI is that next new wave of opportunity. And so we had so much success in the business. We like last year we did over $250,000 just with the system alone, and that means like we 70% of the business was automated. We get more deals because we get better lead conversion, around a 20 to 30% boost in conversion, because now we don't have a leaky bucket, right? All these companies want to throw more money at marketing and leads. More isn't better, just better is better, at the end of the day. So having a better system, having a better process of capturing, nurturing, and converting those leads is really where the future is at. And that's the systems that we deploy in my own business. Now that we've taken that unique business model I was telling you about, we kind of ramped it up to 2.0. And now we have AI powered systems along with seasoned acquisition specialists. So it's a huge game changer for our own company and our clients. And now we've started an AI agency that actually helps real estate professionals leverage AI technology. And we provide this as an additional service as well.
Super cool stuff, man. I think hearing all you talk about all these areas, there's our rooster going off. I'm on a ranch in DFW. I don't know if you
I love it.
Background.
I love it.
But the different ways that you're innovating your business is something that one person could probably outsource to so many different people, but you're able to pivot and to adapt and then to make it so that it's worthwhile, not just for yourself, but for the people that you're working with. It's a win-win-win. It's like consecutive stacking. When I hear people like you talk and talking about your successes, it's just truly remarkable, man. We are coming up on time here, Thomas. Where can people go to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, thanks for the opportunity. If anyone's interested, we have a lot of different ways we can help folks, but they can visit us at www.stellaraisolutions.com. And they can go check us out there. If you like what you see, or maybe you're running into these same issues where you're spending all your time on these low-level tasks, like let AI do that, right? We'll definitely love to chat with them. We also have a ultimate AI toolbox. So if anyone's just interested in starting to investigate or want to see the AI tools and platforms that we use, they can reach out to us. Go Facebook, Instagram at boom.with.ai. And they can get all our handles there as well.
Thomas, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Dylan, thank you. Appreciate it. Good luck to you guys. Thank you again.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.